Amartya Sen was born in 1933 on November 3rd, and he is one of the most famous Indian economists, and he has been teaching in UK and in United States from 1972. And if you're going to see the awards which he has won are, he was the Nobel Prize winner for Economic Sciences in 1998, and the most prestigious Bharat Ratna award was awarded to him in 1999, and National Humanities Medal was given to him on 2012, and John Skytte Prize in Political Science in 2017. And this argumentative Indian is actually a collection of essays written by him. And in that there are many topics, and the first topic is voice and heterodoxy, and in that the very first essay is argumentative Indian. And this argumentative Indian focuses on the argumentative nature of Indians from the tradition India to today. That is, he says that prolixity is not alien to us in India. Prolixity means talking for a long time, and this is how he starts the essay. And we may think that he is starting in a negative note, but actually he points out to how we Indians were and how we are now. And for that, to prove his point, he gives an example of the longest speech record set by an Indian called Krishnan Menon. And he says that though Krishnan Menon belongs to the contemporary India, if you see in ancient India, we have Ramayana and Mahabharata, which are epics and which are lengthy in size compared to Homer's Iliad and Odyssey. It's almost like that. And he says, more important, we have this argumentative nature. Argument means when two people are talking, and if one person has a doubt, and when another person tries to clarify that doubt, and when the first person is not able to accept that clarification, then they will enter into an argument. Or when two people have different opinions, and when they try to prove that their opinion is the best or their opinion is the correct form of whatever is happening, that is, their opinion is the correct, then they will try to prove it, and for that they enter into an argument. And for that he gives an example of Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna and Arjuna have an argument, and he points out how both the sides of the argument are given equal importance. And he says a defeated argument that refuses to be obliterated, that is, which refuses to say that my doubts are cleared, can remain very alive. And it is true, because questions set forth by Arjuna also are very, very intense, and the reply which Krishna gives to him is also so very great and very philosophical. And actually these dialogue, that is the arguments between Krishna and Arjuna, are borrowed by great people like J. Robert Oppenheimer, who has taken this, who has borrowed this idea. And here he says that though the European countries are said to be the first world and India is said to be a third world, this borrowing from the third world to the first world shows that the gap can be filled by borrowing. That is, though India is a third world country, it is in a position to give something to the first world, and the first world has to borrow from the third world. And then he talks about gender, caste and voice, and he says though Britishers have left India, the male elite means people of a very higher class compared in religion, or maybe well educated or very rich people are said to be very elite. And he says particularly male, they have taken the position of the Britishers in India after they have gone. But even though India is said to be a patriarchal, that is a male dominated country, he says that we have had women leaders in our country, and even today we have women leaders in our country. And for that he gives examples from Upanishad and Indian history, and he says that this is not there in the first world. That is, he gives the example of US, where women leaders are not elected in the US. And when he comes to caste, he says that this argument is still not yet to come to an end. And he says that in India, Hinduism and Brahmin dominated orthodoxy is there, and so what the underprivileged people are doing is either they are changing their religion or they are educating themselves to be more privileged in the society. And then he talks about democracy as a public reasoning. Now if you take Indian democracy is based on British. but British itself is ruled by a queen's ruler. And then if you're going to ask anyone what is democracy means, definitely they'll say by the people, for the people, to the people. But what does it mean? It means that government by discussion. But Sen says that this has never been practiced in India because the privileged upper elite male community have governed independent India according to their own desire. And he says that somehow he finds that people in India have lost the argumentative tradition, and they've come to a point where they accept all the policies which are imposed on them without questioning it. And then he talks about understanding secularism. Secularism is where all the religious people are accepted, and we know that India is a secular country because we have Hindus, Buddhists, Jains, Jews, Christians, Muslims, Parsis, Sikhs, Bahas, and others here. And secularism in India says that no man can be interfered based on his religion, and at the same time anyone can adapt any religion of their own choice. That is, you can convert from one religion to another. That is allowed in India. And he says that in West the way of living is different. And he also points out that Indian secularism also has changed nowadays with the rise of Hindutva and its policies. And then he talks about skeptics, agnostics, and atheists. Skeptics, atheists means those who do not accept God. Those who do not believe in God. And agnostics means those who think that creation of God cannot be understood by human knowledge. And he says that all this is possible in India, and all these concepts are accepted in India. And he says that this the way of accepting all these concepts can be traced even in past, that is in the traditional past of India also. And he says that is why in India we have so much of literature written on religion, because there were so many religious problems, and to come to a solution for all this, people have given so much of literature. And he says that only because of all this literature there are so many philosophical concepts also found in India. And then he talks about science, epistemology, and heterodoxy. Now, epistemology means again the study of the origin and the limits of human knowledge, how much one person can know. That is only is epistemology. And science, of course, we know. And heterodoxy is not orthodox, who does not believe in all this orthodoxy, that only. And he says that India had given a lot to the world. That is, India has given a lot of scientific contributions to the world before other countries can give. And he says that because of Indian writings only, so many philosophical understandings came up before the Western mind can give that to the world. And he says, but all this is not recognized for the only reason that India is a third world country. But if you see to the contribution by Indians in trigonometry and astronomy, we can find that it has a lot of historical importance. And he says that all this definitely should be accepted by the world, because without that today's understanding and today's philosophical concepts will not be there. And then he comes to the main point of importance of arguments, and he says that argument has been an heritage in India, and that only has have developed India in its democracy, in its intellectual and its social history. And he says that this argumentative nature only has given lots of riches to India. And he also challenges the world countries, pointing out their dependence on the third world countries for all this. And at the same time, he also agrees that India has changed a lot, and this argumentative nature of the Indians has become extinct, and in that place, acceptance has taken place, and that is what he finds in contemporary India. So, this is what he says in Argumentative Indian. If you have anything more to add on to what I've said, please write it in the comment box, like the video, share it with your friends, and if you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe. Thank you.